Welcome everybody. How's everybody doing? It's Engineering Scale Models. Jason here. You know me, I do the models and the electronics. We're going to do a little bit of a live stream here. I was going to do it a little bit earlier, but I, was playing a game with my son. So, hey Phil, how's it going? So I am going to get started here. We're going to talk about some UV solder mask. I made some interesting stuff on it. Just doing some research and testing it. So I'm going to talk about that, and then I'm going to do a reball on a switch chip. Nothing real exciting, but we're going to try it. I'm going to try it doing it by hand and see what happens and see how comical that's going to be. So let's go here. I have my coffee. It has milk in it, so y'all can hate me because I have milk in my coffee. No sugar though. So I got my coffee. I'll put that off to the side. Need to refill my Q-tips. So hopefully we get a couple more people in here. We got one person. So how is the weather in the UK, Phil? I'm not even quite sure. I didn't go outside yet today. I was up pretty early, but sometimes it's difficult to sleep. So I'm up early sometimes, and sometimes I'm not. It's crazy. So, milk in the coffee. Yeah, I knew you'd find that, Chris. So, but I only have the one, whatever size that this is here, whatever size that this is. I only have one of these, and sometimes I don't even drink it all. And then I drink iced tea the rest of the day from my big boy cup. This is my big boy cup. I drink iced tea from that all day long up until like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Yeah. We had 2 days of cold. It was nice. Well, my son thought it was 3 days of cold, but it was like 2 days for us. It got to 42 one day, so it was decent. Let me just get my solder mask here. So solder mask, you got UV solder mask. This is UV curable solder mask. I have found that it cures under the it's a sippy cup. That's how I work it. No, you don't work a sippy cup? Oops, man, you guys are weird over there. We always use sippy cups. Someone was supposed to send me a cool mug, but I don't know what happened to that guy. So I'm using my sippy cup. So the UV solder mask, it cures at 405 nanometer wavelength. That's the best optimum curing rate. But light needs to penetrate the glue to a certain amount of depth to cure it. And what's 42F in Celsius? Probably like 8 or 9. Oh, that's a nice bill. Lovely. So I found out the green is the best, but you have a wavelength from your UV light or your UV laser. And if I turn it on, it's purple. The light wave, it's a purple light wave. And everybody knows that purple is made up of green and red. So the color purple is made up in green and red. So let's talk about color for a second. When we see something as green, we see it as it reflects, it absorbs every color but the color green. It reflects the color green back to our eyes. So technically, this isn't green. It's every other color but green because it reflects back green. That's how we see things like a banana. We see them as yellow, but technically they absorb every color but yellow and they reflect yellow back. So it absorbs all the colors and it reflects yellow back. So that's going to come into effect with a solder mask. Hey Diego, how's it going? So with the UV solder mask, there are many different colors. There's red, yellow, black, green. Thought I had a blue, and then I got another green here. And I put my green in a regular syringe so it's easier to use without leaking. So I have all the different colors, and I found out that if you look at a color wheel, probably do this here. Let's get out the drawing pad here. So let me open up my drawing program. And if you look at the color wheel, you have your blue, your red, and your yellow. And you have purple, which is a mixture of blue and red. So if you're sending a purple light into a purple object, it's going to reflect a lot of that purple light. So if you send it into a red object, it's going to reflect half of that purple light because it reflects red light. So it reflects the color red. So by doing that, by using red, you're not going to get as much penetration from the UV light as you would on a color like green that absorbs red and blue and highly absorbs purple because it's on the other side of the opposite side of the color wheel, basically. All right, so let's get us a new one here. Get us a new board, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Sometimes I forget I have this drawing pad. So if we make our color wheel here, we have blue up here, and then we have red over here, and then we have, let's change that to yellow. Then we have yellow over here. So let's just go with this color. So we have purple here is a mixture of these two colors is going to give us purple. And a mixture of these two colors is going to give us green. And a mixture of these two colors is going to give us orange. So if you look, opposite of purple is basically, opposite of purple, it more so is yellow. So the yellow UV mask is going to absorb all of the purple light. So yellow is optimum, but we use more green than, green is more the common color, but green will absorb the purple light at a deeper penetration. It's not going to reflect as much light. So that's just not as much color theory as I'm going to go into. I'm not an expert in color theory. I studied color theory. I'm not a fan of color theory. I always had issues. Hey, Jaden, how's it going? If you're asking how I'm doing good. Just, talking about this solder mask. So when you have the UV light and you have a thick coat of, say, a red color, the light, a lot of that curing light is not going to penetrate deep enough to cure it. So it's going to sometimes be brittle, and it's not going to cure in a thicker coat. And I also found out curing it in a thinner coat and then adding another coat on top is preferable to trying to cure one thick coat, even if it's green. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. So get the scope going here, and I have a switchboard that I'm going to put in this holder. Didn't plan on showing the switchboard, but we're going to show it anyways. This is the one that is coming out. The video on this will come out on Monday. So let me get this lined up, and I'll put the scope on the camera. Okay, oh, there goes my... What? All right, hold on. Technical difficulties. There we go. All right, so let's focus that up, and then I'll switch over. All right, there we go. So let's switch over to this one. Okay, so there is this filter that it blew the trace off, so I had to replace the filter, and then I put UV cure on it, UV masking green, and it's on there, but if you push on it in a certain spot, see how it cracked and it's not 100% cured underneath? That's because I put the coat on too thick. Now, it's enough to where this switch is dead anyways. I'm not going to mess with it anymore until I know it's dead. So I'm not going to chisel that off all the way, but I'm going to do a test on it to show you what I meant. Yeah, the 405 nanometer laser does cure it much quicker. Oh, thank you about the audio quality. Yeah, I got this lapel mic here. Actually, I see Phil was using them, and then I got me one. And then he told me how to do the background noise thing. So that's all Phil's doing. If it wasn't for him, I would still be using the same crappy audio sources. I was using a podcast microphone for the longest time, and I had no idea what I was doing with it. I didn't know how to adjust the audio levels, and it was, yeah. This is a definite learning experience for me. I've been having some issues. Okay, so let's talk about, let's get this board up here that I want to get up here. Do it on this one. Okay, so I have a board here. I'm going to put in backwards. We're going to do an experiment here on how thick that you should put this in application techniques. So we're going to zoom in here. Hopefully I keep you guys in focus the whole time we're zoomed. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it a couple different ways. I'm not going to shove my tweezers in it because I'm not crazy like some people. So definitely not shoving my tweezers in it. I will get out a appropriate needle. What is that, 20, 25? What's 20 look like? Yeah, 20 is fine. All right. Probably have a better option up here. This distribution. Let me check it here. I was looking for an appropriate needle. Yeah, this one is probably better. All right, so now also temperature can affect this too. From what I gather in research, and I'm going to try not to butcher this when I explain this, when the stuff is cold, the molecules are closer together on the surface, and the light has a hard difficulty penetrating all the way through it to cure it. But when it's slightly warmer, the molecules are further apart so that it can cure a little bit. I'm experimenting with temperatures. I can't get it really cold to know how bad it is, but it's 59 in here, 60 maybe. So it's a little bit cold, so I'm probably going to warm this up a little bit for one of the experiments. But I want to do it on, I'll start on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dollop here, and we will pretend that this trace is exposed right here. And we're going to just put a dollop on there like so. So we got us a dollop of UV cure. Okay, so we got that on there. Now, that is, say I covered a trace wire, we'll spread it out a little bit with my Q-tip, spread it out a little bit, but there's a lot on there. There's a good chunk on there. So let's cure that and see. Now, I consider this to be a pretty thick coat. Probably a little too much to put. I don't have any freeze spray. Um, that's a pretty thick coat, more than I would normally put on, but I have put on this much and had issues. And I've seen a lot of people put that thick of a coat in one go. Even with the laser pen, it has some issues. So I'm going to cure this. I don't think it's going to get high enough to hurt that camera. I'm not using it under the scope camera. So we'll cure this little piece that dripped over here. And then I want to show you some techniques to cure this stuff to get a better bonding. So let me get this cured, and hopefully my light doesn't die. You can almost see that you can almost see the haze of the reflecting UV beam. I don't know if you guys can see the glaze right here of it reflecting the light. There it is again. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, but you can see it right there. It's reflecting the light. That's actually light beam getting reflected back and not being absorbed by the UV. That's there. You can see that on the camera if you don't have if I take it over here and I look at it through like my magnifiers, I can still see that beam. I did this experiment yesterday with no camera and just messing around. So it is reflecting light because there's blue and green. Blue is part of green, and there's blue color in the purple light, so that's getting reflected. So that's been cured. So now we can come in here and we can, this stuff right here is, it's still gooey, but see how I do that and it just cured the top layer of the UV mask. So it's still gooey underneath. So, I held that on there for a good amount of time, but it didn't penetrate all the way down because the coat was too thick. I don't know if you're able to see that. Let's see if I can lighten that image up. Let's try that. But you see, that's all still gooey. It just cured the top layer, and then once that layer cured, it started reflecting all the light, and it didn't penetrate all the way down. Ooh, solder paste. Yeah, I got some. Then we may get the solder paste out later. Hey, Micro Repairs, how's it going? Yes, I've said it like 5 times, Phil. I've been waiting for your joke about it. So that coating was too thick, and the laser wasn't able to get down deep inside there. So what I'm going to do is, now that I popped that top off, I'm going to go ahead and cure it the rest of the way. Yeah, it's interesting how certain colors in the mask and the temperature of the mask will affect how thick of a coat that you can put on here and how well it cures. So I'm just going to okay, so that should be cured now. Let's see. That's all cured. If I flip it over, yep. See, I just cured the top layer of it. I didn't get all the way down to what was on the board. So again, it just was able to cure the top layer. So I'm going to attempt to clean this mess off of here. Hopefully, without getting it everywhere. All right, so we're going to clean that off. Now, here is a tip that I have found. I'm going to switch irons here to a different iron. because I need my soldering iron for this. So I have found that this is a trick for applying solder mask to the board. Now, a lot of times you can't use this method when you're doing it. Okay, that was weird. Change it. Okay. So I got my soldering iron. It's heated up. So your light is dying. Yeah, the light is going, but I have enough to show this last little tip. So I discovered before putting the solder mask, see, this is a slick surface and it doesn't want to grip. What I do is I take a piece of solder braid. Not that solder braid. Solder braid. So it doesn't matter what solder braid you use, but I want the thicker stuff so I can demonstrate this. So I'm going to take a piece of solder braid here. This is just Kim Wick number 3. Cut this off. And I'm going to fold the end of it like that. I'm going to put it on this board right here. And I'm going to get my iron. And I am going to tin my iron with some solder. So I'm going to tin my iron here. So I just have a chisel tip here like so. Tin my iron. I'm going to grab my solder mask here. Or my solder wick. And I'm going to apply the iron to it. I'm going to scrub the surface where I want to apply the mask with the wick and the hot solder I just put on the wick. So I want to scrub the whole surface with the braid and the solder I put on there. Like so. All right. Get my iron off. And now I roughed up that surface. I'm going to give it a clean with cotton bud here. It's all clean, no more flux on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my solder mask, but I'm going to do it in a thin layer. So just put a little bit on there. Then I'm going to use a little micro applicator. And I'm going to apply it in a thin layer to the trace I exposed. And if you're doing like covering up a trace repair with a wire, you can put a coat down alongside the wire and then come back and do another coat. Over top the wire after you cure the bottom coat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot air gun. It's turned up high. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to warm this up a little bit and then cure it. So just going to warm this up. Just going to warm it up and then I'm going to cure it as I warm it up. I'm not putting direct heat on the board. I'm about 4 or 5 inches from the board, but I'm just warming it up basically. So, and that's going to cure a lot better. And the fact that I scrubbed the board with the solder wick and the hot solder is going to give me a better surface for the UV cure to bond to. So, this, like I said, the soldering station, it's set to 480, 40% airflow, or 40 airflow at a 120. So I'm just using it to just bring up the temperature of the solder mask, because it does help curing it. All right, so we just warmed that up and then we cured it. So now that didn't get, that the board got warm, so I can touch it, it's warm. But now that is going to be a stronger, more durable cure because it's thin and it's bonded to the board better. Yeah, the 405 laser works with all solder mask colors. Hey, Eduard, how's it going? Yeah, a lot of people use the Goodwick. I have a hard time finding that. I could find it on eBay, but the delivery is outrageous. This stuff here, this MG Chemicals Super Wick, and this is Chemtronics, which is the same company. Chemwick I get for free, so I don't really do it. Yeah, the color will affect the result. From what I've tested, green and yellow are the optimum for thick coats and maximum curing, where blue, red, black, purple would be the worst. Don't cure as much, and I've noticed that the colors with blue or the colors with red in them tend to be more brittle than colors with the blue in them. So that's something to keep in mind. So this needs to be charged. So I'll take that out and I'll charge it later. Put it somewhere to remind me to charge it, I suppose. So that is the little discoveries I've made with UV solder mask. So hopefully you find that somewhat helpful. I don't just wanted to share that. I was telling Phil a little bit about it last night, but it does make a difference on the color you use in the amount and the thickness of the coat and the temperature. But by heating that up, warming that up, I didn't heat it up, but that's a lot stronger, and because it was a thinner coat, it's a lot stronger also. So let me get some of this stuff out of the way here. One thing about these new wipes that I have to use, they are horrible for solder masks because it goes through them. It leaks through them all over your hands. So, but there we go, solder mask. So that is practice board for another time. Let us zoom back out and we will talk about one more thing. The jumper wire. Oh, okay. What are you talking about? Yeah, I've seen Goodwick on eBay, but I don't know if it's the real thing. I know that MG Chemicals is real because it's made here in the States. So, but I know they sell that stuff's fake. I've only seen it on eBay, so I'm not the best one for Goodwick. Phil may know the best place to get Goodwick. So, tweezers. So I had my LCR tweezers out because I believe that there's a short on this board. Well, there is definitely a short on the board, but I want to know if it's the CPU, an internal trace, or a CPU capacitor. So I'm going to do a bunch of testing and jot down all the data just so the data is there to be had. And then I'm going to, if I can't find it cap-wise, I'm just going to pull the CPU off and see what I can do on that to see what it looks like underneath. And see what's going on with that. But that's not what we're working on today. That is not the Reball thing I'm going to try. So we're going to do that now. Get all my jumper wires on a spool, but I don't. Okay, so solder mask. Tons and tons of solder mask. I actually honestly thought I had blue. Okay, so let's get out switch number 1. That one is going to get reballed. All right, so there we go. It's reball time. So get this out of here. And we are going to look at this here. So this is what we have. This is a board that I've done a lot to, but it just doesn't turn on. It charges the battery. So actually, I use this to charge my batteries. Yeah, that roll of wire fill, that is definitely a lot. So I just use this to charge batteries, but I'm going to reball this chip back here that's on the back. It's a tiny chip. It's this little chip right here, this little fuel gauge chip. I think it's 4 balls, 6 balls maybe, but it's tiny. So Phil said I should start with that one on a reball. So we're going to find out if I can do it. So, yay. So we're going to do that. So let's look at it under the scope real quick. So it's that chip right there. With that chip right there, we're going to yank that off the board. And we're going to see if we can put some new balls on it. So, and I'm hoping Phil didn't lie and they're 0.25 millimeter balls. Because that's all I have. The other jars aren't labeled. So we are going to hope it's 2.5 millimeter. Yes. Trying to find the best way to clamp this bad boy. Okay, so there's the chip. We're going to pull that off, and that chip looked like it got hot. So we're going to pull that off so we can get some better light on it here. Nope, that's the best I can do for light. The only thing with this modification with the scope that the light thing is not as great as it was. So I'm going to use my forged tweezers, not stamped tweezers. These are forged, so they have a better point and they last longer. And these are like 2 years old. And you see how clean they are? Phil bought some brand new tweezers and they're filthy. Like day 2. He doesn't take care of them. And they're all bent. They look, I'm not going to say what they look like because it's disrespectful. But yeah, they looked bad. It's just, ugh. So, and they were new. So I got my airflow here. What I said before, 480 at 40 at 120. So we're gonna yank this chip off of here, hopefully. Well, it's got some stuff under it. Oh, we pulled it off. It is 9 balls. Look at that. Okay, so we got the chip. I'm deathly afraid to sit it down because I don't know where it is. It is tiny, so put it right there for right now. And we are going to switch irons again. This is a job for the micro pencil. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of flux. A little bit of flux. Okay, first of all, they're $40. Oh, yeah, I guess that's 30 pounds. They're forged, though. I mean, how many cheap tweezers are you going to buy that equals $30 for one pair that's going to last you, until you lose them? But then again, you do clean up and lose stuff, so that's a flux to that. I'm going to clean these pads here. Clean the pads, clean the pads, clean the pads, clean the pads. I could find my stuff. Yeah. I don't know, the tweezers you used on that soldering tutorial video, wow. I just can't even talk about how sad that was. There we go. So that looks like I cleaned it all up. Let's give it a clean with some alcohol. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. All right, so there's that. So now that is that. So now we have to figure out how we're going to do this chip. So I'm going to take this out so I don't snap it off. I'm going to take that out of there. So let's figure out how we're going to do something with this chip. My plan is to use the mini preheater here. So that's my goal, is to use this to blow them on with maybe teasing it with some air on a low airspeed. So that's my goal. Okay, everybody does things differently. This is a channel where I experiment with doing things different ways. So there is no it's just by reballing. Yeah, that's good. I like to experiment with different ways of doing things. I changed a port with this little thing. I have changed a connector with it. And now I am going to attempt to reball an IC with it. So how I plan on doing this is I'm going to plug it in first. And I'm going to plug it in and get it under the microscope so I don't have to move it once I start reballing it. Okay, so I will put the mini scope up. There we go. So that is the surface of the hot plate. We will put the chip down. There is the chip to be reballed. So that will go there. And what I'm going to do is give me a little bit of chip quick flux. And against my better judgment, I'm going to put it on something. Put it on some Kapton tape. I'm going to get me a piece of Kapton tape here. Yes, yeah, I know where everything is on the bench. I just know where things are. Right there. And everything gets put away after I use it and all that good stuff. So I'm going to put me a little bit of chip quick flux right there. And now what I want to do is take my little micro applicator that I have, a little teeny tiny micro applicator. I'm going to take that little teeny tiny micro applicator. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, Phil makes it super easy. This is gonna be, yeah, I'm not even quite sure. So I got my little chip quick flux there. I'm gonna grab this chip I'm going to lift it up, and I'm going to take a little bit of chip quick, and I'm going to brush it on my hot plate, and I'm going to stick the chip down on it. Now, supposedly, well, not supposedly, if I do it right, when I heat that up, that chip quit's going to get sticky, and it's going to allow me to clean off the pads of this chip and stay stuck down. So we're going to add a little bit of flux. It's not sticking right now, but we got our flux on there. I'm going to grab my tweezers. All right, so there's that. Now let's clean this area up here. A little bit of alcohol just to dab that off of there. Oh, don't stick to there, stick to the hot plate. Okay, so there, that's cleaned off. Let's dry it. Okay, so. All right, now we have that part. Now let's get out the solder balls here. So using the 0.25, just because it's the only one that's labeled. This is the only one that's labeled. Oh, I just peeled the label off trying to open it. They put tape across it and then they put the label on it. Seriously. Yeah, I have an order. Well, I will have an order in for the solder balls that Phil uses very soon. One of the switches that I sold was went overseas, and they put a hold on the money until it was delivered. So I have another week before I get paid for that one. So I plan on getting another switch to fix and getting some parts and stuff. So let's get some solder. Well, first I need to put a little layer of flux on this chip. So I'm going to get my little micro applicator. I'm just going to hopefully that's a little layer. I think it's more than needed, but we will find out. All right, now I need a different pair of tweezers. Okay, now I need to get some balls out of here. There we go. It's way more than I need, but will do. I just put some solder balls on the end of this Q-tip there. I sealed them up so they don't spill. And now I'm going to attempt to take off them. Place them on the chip. Okay. Now, let me see here. So, oh man, these tweezers are huge for this. Seriously, Phil, are you crazy? Oh, you are nuts, Phil. You are a nut. Oh my God. No freaking way you're doing this. This is crazy. I think I have too much flux on the board. I'm sure Phil was saying that. Use paper towel. Yeah. I wanted to do it on this because of the heating aspect of it. Scared me. Bumped everything off the chip. I may honestly shake too much, Phil. Try something else that's easier for me to hold without possibly shaking. Okay, so it's maybe too big. Yeah, it is, but I'm not looking at chat, guys. I'm sorry. This is way crazy. I got some kind of hair fiber on there now. It was doing better with. I should have started with a RAM chip. Oh, I gotta take a break for a second, guys. Oh. Oh. Okay, let's see what we have in chat. Thank you, Mal. Mile. I don't think we should do this. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have a conversation in a minute. Clean them with IPA. Always clean this video. Yeah, I keep cleaning them off, but just I think I have too much flux on the chip. Bill, you told me that I had to do it by hand before I could use a stencil. You told me that yesterday. As I said, if I fail at doing it by hand, I was going to use a stencil, and you said I couldn't do that. So don't change what you're going to say because you want to be all like, oh, use a stencil. That's not cool. I definitely think I'm far too shaky for this, but we're gonna press on here. I'm going to crank my supply up to 20 volts, and I am going to. Wow, you can't even see that chip in the real world. So, try a different option here. It's not working either. Oh man, this is got me. You don't think I am resting my palm? If you look here, I'll show you here. I'll move this. I am like this. This is how I'm doing it. With my palm rested, and then I'm under the scope. Yeah, it's this is a tiny chip. I remember you doing that ESD protection chip for the Xbox, and you having issues. I honestly thought the chip quick was going to be helpful here with the stickiness, but okay, so okay, I'm gonna get all this. So I'm gonna do it the way I would do something in my old shop. So let's get that back up. And in order to do this, my old shop, hold that down like so. Get that out of there. So I have the 9 on there I need. So what I need to do is I need to get it, I need to get it stuck to so I'm setting my hot plate to 160. And I'm hoping that gets the flux tacky, but doesn't melt the solder. And then when I get these in line, I will, yeah, see, it's not going to melt that, but I'm hoping that it clears me up some room to see where they're going to merge or whatnot. So I might have to start over. There's way too much flux on here. Oh, this has just gotten 100% worse. I know why I don't see more of this hand stuff on YouTube. Okay, I probably haven't talked for 10 minutes. Oh, start over with less flux. Um, put the camera's back on. Yeah, start over with less flux. It might be easier if you tape the chip down with double-sided. Fix it to a board holder. Yeah, I was hoping the chip quick would stay on would get sticky and stay on the board. So here's what I want. Stop taking them off. Get them all on there. Okay, they're all on there, I believe. Turn off the power supply to cool down this hot plate. I'm going to wait a minute for that stuff to solidify and cool down. Yeah, that's my next goal. I'm gonna get rid of those and then 14 viewers. That's crazy. That's yeah. I'm not one to give up. I'm not one to give up at all. So this is quite interesting. Very quite interesting. I think on a bigger chip, it would be easier to do, especially with bigger balls. I see it's starting to go sticky now. I want that to cool all the way down so it goes sticky. I've done trace repair on the bottom of one of these chips messing around, and I was able to stick it down to the board with the chip quick flux by heating it up and cooling it off, and I was able to fix a trace under. It was a larger bulk BGA chip, but it was able to be done. Oh yeah, you don't want me moving my arm. I got bad shoulders. Uh, yeah, I have a crushed shoulder. If you can see this, but if you look here, that that scar goes all the way up into my shoulder, and it's the right one's full of scar tissue, and on my left shoulder, my scapula was crushed, and the bone fragments were left in there. So my fine motor skills are not as fine as I would like them to be, but doing things like this actually builds up the muscles and allows me to do more things. Building scale models really helped because of the teeny tiny finicky pieces that were in that. So I don't think if I didn't start doing that, if I didn't start with the scale modeling, I think this would be far more difficult than it used to be for me. So. just those two. Yeah, according to the coder Phil, they are the right size. Hey, Crazy, how's it going? Yeah, it is. It is interesting to do this. Well, I've been doing it an hour, but I did the whole solder mask thing too. So, okay, if I can get these two, I might be able to do something. Oh, that one was positioned. To stop the shaking for a bit because I'm pretty close to having them all on the pads there. I just need to, I need to not get my hand to shake, and I need to move that one over. Okay. Only 30 minutes left. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so I just need to move this one over. Now, of course, it's the middle one that's out of whack. Oh, this is like, oh my. Just flick the ball off, seriously. Oh, OMG. Woo! Okay. They are on there. Okay. Okay, well, they're all sitting close enough to their pads, so. Oh, woo! I need a minute now. That was brutal. Oh, you do this with an APU, you are crazy, Phil. Oh. whole body is tense from that. So I'm going to turn this back on, and I am going to, hopefully it's going to flow those to their spot without merging. So and hopefully we don't get any mergers of these. Hopefully it's heating up slowly. Yeah, you can give me a couple pointers. That's fine. I'll take all the help I can get, because that was okay. I went wrong on the last 9. The 9 of them I went wrong on. No, 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 no. Demerge, 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 demerge. Oh, they're going to demerge. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. Did you see that? Oh, wow. Woo-wee. That was something. I thought for sure those were going to merge, and then they didn't merge. So I believe I can add a little dab of flux to that. Add a little bit of flux to that when it gets up the temperature. But they should be all molten there. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off and let that cool down. Wow, that, wow. Oh yeah, push one from the end. What do you mean no? What? They're on there. It's good. Oh, don't add the flux. Yeah, I realized that because they were still molten. Yeah, I got it. I thought through it. I thought about it before I did it. I caught myself. I caught it. Yeah. I caught it. I just realized that they were still molten, and that would have messed it up. Yeah, I'm going to make sure they're stuck, but I want to let that thing cool down so I know they're not molten. But that was without hot air. You know, they seem like they're on there. You know, I can do what you do now and you know, hit it with some hot air. Just to make sure, but I think that I want to know if I can do it with just a hot plate. I want to know if it can be just done with the hot plate. So I'm going to let that cool down. It's going to take a minute. I'll sit here and chat. Yeah, Tigo. I'm using the hot plate. I'll show you here. Move the scope out of the way. It's right there. It's on the little hot plate. I don't trust myself with the hot air. Looks better than factory. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, I had high respect for you in the first place still because you do great work, you make great videos, and you are super helpful. But after doing that, yeah, insane. You are like, reballing is repair. There's no other way about it. It takes a level of skill that a lot of repair techs don't have, or the patience or the ability to do. I mean, you saw how bad I was shaking. I could probably do a RAM chip easier than I did this, but it would definitely take me a good chunk of time to do. And I would have to come up with a way to cut down on my shaky hands. If I work outstretched, even you know, as outstretched as I am from this, it puts on my shoulder, it puts weight on it, and it makes me shake. So if I bring everything in closer to like this area, I think I can. I think I would have an easier time doing it. But this is definitely not the only one I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it again. In fact, Phil, you can answer me this question. Um, the RAM on an OG Xbox. What size balls do I need for that? Um, I need to know what size balls to make sure I order them. Let me go to my AliExpress thing because I want to make sure I got those on order. So, um, this 0.45. Yeah, I got those ready to buy. I got 0.45, 25,000 of them. Okay, so that's good. So I'll have that. But I have two OG Xbox Ones that are kind of working, kind of not working. So I'm giving the Xbox One S to my son. He was 0.4. I don't know. Whatever you sent me a link to, I ordered every size but the 6 and the 6.5 because they were out of stock. So um, I have those two OG Xboxes that one is a turn on and then it goes back off, and then the other one, I think it's just dirty and it overheats. So I'm going to be looking at both of those in upcoming videos, and um, I might pull a RAM off of there just to reinstall it to see if I do it and see if the console works. Because practicing on a dead board is not going to tell me if I successfully did it. Um, nice Phil, different ball game. Oh, that's funny. So it's not going to tell me if I actually did the reball successful. So I want to take a working Xbox OG board, pull a RAM chip off of it, reball it, reinstall it, and make sure the console works. So I have those two consoles that I'm going to be, yeah. So this coming week, I'll probably be working on one of those. Um, I'm doing some issues with the latest Switch. Those videos will come out this week coming up. But yeah, yeah, I'm pulling the RAM from a working board. Well, I'm gonna figure out what's wrong with the board, and then hopefully it's a working board after that. I think one of them just needs a clean, and I don't know what the other one is. It just randomly powers on and powers off. So it'll randomly just turn on, and then it'll be on, and then it'll randomly turn off. So you know how random stuff is in repair. It's strange, but an old route. Oh man, I don't have a lot of old electronics laying around. Um, I actually have some stick RAM from a laptop. Um, I could do that. What about like a old Acer laptop from like 2012? No, probably 2008 ish. I got an old Acer laptop that has a RAM stick in it. I could reball a RAM piece from that, but I have to wait for the balls to show up. So I'm not really um, troubled on that because I don't have the 0.45 millimeter uh, balls yet. I was gonna order them. I was gonna order them from DigiKey, but the prices on DigiKey, I thought they were good prices because I thought it was $250,000, but it wasn't $250,000. It was only 2,500 or 25,000, so it was like $30. But I thought it was $250,000 for 30, and then I was just gonna go. So, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll take a RAM chip from that. So let's go back here and let's look at this chip again. I can find it. It's tiny. All right, I'm going to put the camera on. Don't tell me to switch the camera. I'm putting the camera on. So, yeah, that's cooled down. All right, let's see if these balls are actually stuck down. Oh, now the chip sticks with the chip quick. Wow, that's funny. Can you see them on there? Now the chip sticks down with the chip quick. Wow. Some nerve of that chip. I mean, I'm telling you, that has got some nerve of that chip. To stick after all that, it wants to stick now. It's uncalled for. Uncalled for. Need that in my house. Okay, so we're going to set that out of the way, and we're going to get our switchboard back in here. We're going to put it in the weird vise the way we had it before, hopefully. I don't know how we had it before. It was some way. Nope, it wasn't that way. How did we do that? How did we do this last time? What? I know I put this in here. I mean, I'm 100% sure I put this in here. That's weird. Okay, I know that was out of focus the whole time, but I wouldn't go back in the vise. All right, so those pads aren't flat, so I need to flatten those pads out. And those pads aren't flat at all. So I need to do a little bit of cleanup on those. So I'm going to add some flux to that. Just heating up my iron here. I'm using a 0.8 millimeter braid from Superwick. We don't have the big, giant, long things of this. This is all that the dude had, and we don't use it at my old job, so I actually had to pay for this stuff. Just sad. All right, that should be good now. All right. Oh, there's still a little bit of goo there. What is that about? It's like a little... What is that? There, it's gone now, whatever it was. That was irritating. All right. All right, so we're going to put us a little bit of layer of flux in there because that's how. Oh, you know what? I totally missed chat here. Hey, Andy, how's it going? Oh yeah, that was cool. I'm not flying to the UK though. So, all right, everybody's good. All right, let's just add a little layer of fluxy there, just a little bit, and then we will grab our chip and try to get it in the right orientation. It sticks to everything now. All right. So it appears that pin 1 is there, maybe. Oh, it doesn't look like pin 1. I'm going to have to clean this chip off. I'm going to have to clean this chip off to find out where pin 1 is. So okay, let's get back over here. See the contrast. So assuming pin 1's that plus symbol. I should have looked at that before I took the chip off. Okay, I'm assuming pin 1's that plus symbol. So it's going to go right there like so. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to go here. We are going to turn my airflow down. Like, what do you say, like 20? Sounds good. Sounds like a good airflow. I'm going to warm this up real slow style. Oh, seriously? Wow. I have to move it and I unlocked it. And I lost the chip. Okay, the chip came off. Okay, well, this may end. Nope, I found it. We're lucky. I found the chip. Okay. Okay, so now let's put the chip back on. I like the Vice until that just happened. Now I'm less of a fan. Now I am less of a fan of that Vice. Okay, so come on. Come on, sit down there. All right, now let's try this again without knocking everything around. Yeah, now there's no chip. Yeah, I believe that this chip is tied to the board, like Bill was saying there. Okay, so I'm gonna slowly heat this up here. Try not to blow it all over the place. This is my first BGA chip install without a rework oven. So pretty far away because I don't want to blow the chip. So I'm pretty far away here. Okay, it just moved. So I'm going to give it just a little bit of a nudge. Okay, I think that's set down there. Okay. Hopefully that's down there and good to go. Yeah, that was air 30 liters. And that was 480. Why did that just go? Oh, the board came out again, seriously? Yeah. Let's go with that. That thing being awful. I'm gonna go with that. That is this for switches. No. For holding a RAM chip, it's fantastic, but for switches, no. On there. All right. Well, that is. Oh, do I got to add flux and do more stuff to it? Seriously? Okay, whatever. I was done there. Thought I reflowed that bad boy. Okay, well, let's do that then. I thought I was done. My bad. There, it just wiggled into place. There. I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it again. That's it. I did it. It's been done. I floated it, I pulled it, I reballed it, I floated it twice, and then it wiggled and nudged and danced into place. Oh, I don't know how much more you guys want from me. So that was it. That was a hand reball of a 9-ball chip that took like an hour because I talked like 30 minutes about color in the beginning of this. But, you know, yeah, let me give you some thoughts on this. I'm gonna share some thoughts on this. I clean up my mess because I clean as I go. And Phil doesn't understand that clean as you go. He doesn't. I don't think he understands the word clean. But first of all, I have solder balls, and they're the only ones that were labeled were these 0.25s. So I guess I could open all the containers and throw them on a board and see what size they are, or see what size looks appropriate. But I wasn't going to do all that, and I don't think that I had gotten in that batch 0.45, so I can't do the RAM right away. But like I was saying earlier, I sold a Switch, and unfortunately it was going overseas, and they're holding payment until it's delivered. So I have to wait another 10 days before it gets delivered in order to get the money released so I can order. I'm ordering another Switch, another damaged, broken port switch, and going to be fixing that. And then I got to get some parts and some solder balls and things like that. So that is the plan for that. That is that plan. So, but it's very I think if I rearranged my setup, this is the first time I've tried this. If I pulled the scope forward, to here, right here under my mat, and then I was here, and I lowered my chair so I was more on top of it, I think that I could have had steadier hands and whatnot if I if I brought myself down more, you know, it's just something I need to play with. So also having my chair that low kills my knee. So I'm hoping that it would be faster that way, because that would be brutal, because now I just did that. Now my knee is killing me. But yeah, that is, you know, that was interesting. You know, that was very interesting. See you later, Kadir. See you later, Mael. Yeah, it was interesting. Well, thank you guys for watching. First attempt. Well, thank you, Phil. I appreciate it. That means a lot coming from you, that you do this, and I'm like, oh. But I see. It's not a failure. It was successful, but there was failure moments, and I've learned from the failure moments. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently next time. I might do a max IC off of this board for practice, and I might just do a video on that, or I might have it for a stream next week. If I don't do that RAM IC, depends on when stuff shows up. But kind of curious if I could do a max IC. You know, and I want to try different techniques of doing it with the flux and different things like that. Because I ordered some max ICs. So if I mess this max IC up, then I can always just put a new one on when they show up. So they're on order. I've actually paid for those. So, but that's where I'm at from here. If anybody needs any in the US, if you need any switch parts, I have a good supply. I have just about everything but M92. I'm having a hard time getting that in a large quantity, but I have Joy-Con parts, all that good stuff. You can send me an email or social media links, all that good stuff. I'm hoping to have a community tab soon, so I can PS4 APU. That's funny. I'm hoping to be able to have a community tab soon. I still don't have it. Actually, haven't checked today. My watch hours are still a little low. I'm at 1,052 subscribers, and I'm at 3,840 watch hours. So I need another 160 watch hours. So yeah, I need another 160 watch hours. So that's where I'm at on that. So, but thank you guys for watching, and I hope everyone has a